everybody, it's Kathy Champion, and you're back in my craft room here at Random Acts of Crafting. So come in, take a seat, and let's settle in and do some crafting right here at my craft table. I'm going to do a card today, and it's going to be a birthday card because I need a birthday card to send out to someone. And we always need birthday cards. You know, it seems like that's one card that we never ever have quite enough of. And if you're like me, I like to make a card and kind of customize it to the person I'm sending it to. So sometimes my generic cards didn't work for someone that's, you know, someone that's special that you want to give that certain something to. So I thought today I'm going to do a card. I'm not doing anything fancy, and I'm not using anything other than a simple stamp set. And the stamp set that I'm going to use today this is a May stamp set, and it is called New Creation, and I love the stamp set. And what I'm going to use out of here is basically the butterflies, because I just want to have a little bit of emphasis on the card that kind of ties everything together, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go on. I'm also going to be using 3 dies, and this is just a simple circle die, and these right here are, let's see if I can find the name of those. I know they're Gina Marie. Y'all know I love Gina Marie dies. And this was my circle. I got my circle off of. And these are called Loopy Circle dies. And I used the 2 out of the middle, so next to the largest and the one next to the smallest. So those 2 dies. And I will link all of that in the description below. And I'll probably put the name up on the screen so you can see it, like, you know, right here. Or up in the corner, I'm not sure. Sometimes I put my descriptions up in the corner up here, and sometimes I run them across the bottom. So, but anyway, you can look for it. Y'all pretty much know. So what I've got is I've got some scrap pieces, white and red. I've got a black piece. And I also have this little design, this decorative pattern paper that I've had in my stash for a while. So I'm going to use these elements to make a card come together. So before we get started, let's go ahead and do our trimming, get everything trimmed down, then we'll do our die cutting and embossing, and then we'll put our card together. But how does that sound? Oh, I'm also going to use a happy birthday from this stamp set, Music from the Heart, and I love that happy birthday right there, so I am going to be using that as well. So, let me move this off to the side, and we're going to get our pieces like we need them. First of all, here's my card base, and this is too big, so we need to cut this down. It is 8.5 by almost 6, 5 7/8. So I'm just gonna bring this in, and what I want to do is I want to cut this down to an A2 size card. So what I need to do is I need to bring it to 5.5 and trim that off. And this cardstock is the Not Your Mama's cardstock, and it is very substantial. If you've ever used it, I do carry this in my store, so if you're interested in picking up a pack of it, please go over to Random Acts of Crafting. The website will be right here, and it'll also be a link in the description of this video. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. Which gives us that A2 size card, and I'm using my score tool on this paper trimmer. Now, if any of you are interested in this paper trimmer, just go over to Random Acts of Crafting and click the link that will take you to my website where you can purchase this. Alright, I'm going to set this over to the side, and I am going to grab my bone folder. I'm going to close this card up, and sometimes, you know, paper, you have to train it, so I'm going to just do this, and like I said, this is a very thick, this is a 130-pound cardstock, so anytime you're dealing with a heavy-duty cardstock like that, you're going to have a little bit of resistance. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to cut a black mat to fit this. Now, I know that it needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. So I am going to cut this at 5 1/4. Just like that. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it to 4. And there's our mat. There's our first mat. Now this mat needs to be 3 3/4 or 3/4. So we're going to put this way. Is that right? No, 3 3/4 would be this way. And this is 3 3/4. Okay, so we only need to cut this down to 5. Okay, that's good. Like I've always said, and y'all hear me say this all the time, it's better to measure twice and cut once. Okay, and then this is going to live on top of there. Look how pretty that card's coming together already. Now I want to cut 2 1/2 inches off of this. So I'm going to go to 2 1/2. And I just want this to be a panel on my card. Now I'm going to run this one through the embossing machine. And then the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the circle die out of this. We are going to do the smaller loopy circle out of that. And then I'm going to do the larger one out of black. And like I said, we're going to run this panel through our embossing folder. So let me bring everything over here so you can see. And then I'm going to go off camera and do my embossing and my die cutting, and then we'll come right back up. So this is going to lay in here just like that, and I'm going to run that through the embossing machine. This is going to go through and cut that circle. This piece is going to go through and cut the circle. This is a white piece that's going to go through and cut the circle. So I'm going to go get these cut, and we'll be right back. Alright, we are back, and here's all of my pieces cut. Now, the reason I did this white circle is I want this to live on top of it so that the white peeks out around the edge of that. See how pretty that makes that look? I mean, so much different than it being like that. Look at the difference. So that's the reason I cut the white circle. And I'm going to adjust it on here so that it, shows a good amount of the white showing under there. That one's that. This is going to live on top of this. And here's our little panel that I embossed. I don't know if you could, there we go. Isn't that pretty? So that just will add a little bit more texture to our card. Alright, so now I want to show you what I had in mind for my layout. Now this piece is going to have to be cut down. I didn't think about cutting the length of it. But I want that to live there, and I want this to live here, and I want to do a little happy birthday. Let's do 1 inch off of this. And this is okay. Like I said, I really kind of had this card in my head more than anything else. I did not, I just kind of thought that this would be a pretty combination. So I decided to go with it. Now this piece is going to be 3/4. This piece is going to be an inch strip, and then you're going to need another strip that is 3/4. And this is going to be for our sentiment that's going to live on top of the card. So I think we got that now. It took me a little bit of doings, but we got it. And what we're going to do with this is we are going to glue this down on top of this, giving that little scant border. And what I want to do is I want to dovetail it on the end, but I'm going to show you how you do a dovetail when you're using 2 colors like this, and that will be a good little piece of info for especially the new crafters that wonder how you can get that where you've got the border on both pieces out just a little bit. So stay tuned, it's coming. Let me cut this piece down because I need this piece to be, I want it to live on top of this piece. So I am going to cut it at 3 3/4. So my length on this is going to be 3 3/4. And let's go right here, 3 3/4. And we're just going to cut that off just like that. Oops, I didn't quite slice through it. Wow. Let's try that again. And it's probably because it's textured. Well, I should have cut this down before I ran it through my embossing folder, but hindsight's 20/20, right? Okay, I think we are ready to start assembling our card. Now what I like to do is set my card base to the side. Here's my card base. I'm just going to sit it over here, and I want to build my mat because the mat is where everything's going to live. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this down. I'm going to grab my ever trusty art glitter glue, and I am going to, hopefully I'm going to get some glue out of this bottle. I keep threatening to refill it, and I haven't done it yet. Shame on me. I probably need to clean my tip again. There we go. Now if y'all are wondering why I have a big old band-aid on my left thumb, as in here, I tried to cut my thumb off last night. I was slicing up stuff for a salad for my husband's work for his lunch today, and needless to say I didn't finish that salad. I was actually cutting the meat and the cheese to go on his salad, and I decided to slice my finger open. Alright, I want this piece to come over just a hair where some of that pattern paper is showing right there. So I'm just going to eyeball it. No rocket science here. I just want to leave about a quarter of an inch, just enough so you can see that black and white paper peeking out. I think that would make it look pretty. And I think doing a little bit of texture on this piece is going to add a lot to the card. So see what I mean? I just want a wee little bit to the show right there. But I do want to come down to the edge here. And to the edge on the top. There we go. I'm going to turn that over, and very gently, because I don't want to press out the embossing. So very gently from the back, and I got glue on it. Did y'all see that? I got glue on the front of it. That's okay. It's art glitter glue. It's going to dry clear. So no problem there. The next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and glue this piece to the back of this piece. So I'm just going to put glue on the back of this, just like that, making sure I get it around the edges because that's the most important part. And I got a little bit there. I get a little too zealous with my glue. Now I'm going to weigh this down and slide it just a little bit. And see, I just want that to have a little bit of a peekaboo effect. And then that's going to live right there. And then this piece is going to live on top of that. And then we're going to work on our happy birthday banner before we put this together. So I'm going to move that off to the side, and now we're going to work on this piece. Now the secret of getting this like you want it is to cut down your length first. So I want to look at my card base, my mat again, and see how long of a piece do I want. So I know I want it to go probably from here to maybe here. So I'm going to make myself a little mark right there. Now I can't cut a straight line with the scissors to save my neck. So I am going to bring over my trimmer again. And I'm going to line up that little pencil mark right into the track of my trimmer. Just like that. And I'm just going to slice it. Then I'm going to lay this piece on top and decide exactly how much of a border I want. And I want a little bit more of a border on this. So I'm going to make another little pencil mark right here. And I'm going to cut this piece off at that pencil mark. So no measuring. I don't have a measurement on this. You just cut your piece to the length you need it and the width that you need it for your sentiment. Now this is where we're going to do our ribbon tails. So I am going to, so that they match, I'm going to put this piece to this piece. And if you have any temporary adhesive, whether it be glue or snail, this would be the perfect place to use this. So I'm going to take on this end and I'm going to put a little piece of this temporary adhesive, and then I am going to drop this piece onto this piece. Just like I want it to live. You want it to be flush on the end where you're going to do the ribbon tail. And I'll show you why as soon as I get this lined up. Okay. Now see, I only taped it down on the end that I'm going to do the snipping on. So you need to grab a pair of snips or your cutter bee scissors. I like my cutter bees for this. And you're going to cut up about a ½ an inch right in the middle of that. And with cutting through 2 pieces, it's going to be tough. But that's okay. Alright. Then you're going to come in from this angle and you're going to cut up to that piece, just like that, and that's going to come out. And then you're going to go over on this side and do the same thing, making sure you're going straight up to that angle, just like that, and pull that out. Now you can unstick this, and when you put it back together with your border, like that, you're going to have that piece that's going to match. And that's how you do that. That's how I do it. Now, there may be an easier way of doing it. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, and there's always more than one way to make a ribbon tail. But this one works for me. So, you know, if y'all have another way that you do it, then by all means, go for it. So what I'm going to do before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my happy birthday on the white piece, because that's the piece I want this to live on. So I'm going to grab my little happy birthday off of this stamp. I just like this font. I thought it was cute, and I thought that it would tie in really good with the way we're making this card. Now I'm going to put happy birthday closer up this way, because I want to stamp a butterfly on that end. So happy birthday can live right there. Now I'm going to grab a stamp block. Something a little bigger than that. So maybe this one. And I'm going to pick this up. Y'all know my paper's going to come with me. That's okay. Alright, I am going to grab some red ink, and I think I'm going to use the Real Red. And y'all, I'm telling you what, I never knew how much you needed your left thumb until I hurt my finger. And I cut all the way down into the nail, all the way down into the meat. It was pretty bad cut. My husband said that he cannot trust me with a knife. And this is true. I am an accident waiting to happen all the time. But that's okay. I will survive. I have so far, so. I've always been accident prone. Do y'all know people like that? You do now. Okay, I inked up my stamp with this beautiful Real Red, and I'm going to stamp over this way, and I'm going to get it lined up just like I want it, and then stamp. And I'm going to give it a little time for that ink to transfer to the paper. Voila! I love it. My little granddaughter, she says that all the time, and I think I got it from her. Anything you do for her, I love it. I love it. And I've started saying it too. She is my little doll baby, Miss Autumn Grace. She is absolutely the love of my life. And she knows it. She loves her Gammy too. Yes, that's what she calls me. She calls me Gammy. And I don't care what she calls me as long as she calls me. Y'all know how that is if you got grandbabies. And she's my youngest. She's the baby in the grandbaby line. And I don't think there's going to be any more. So she will always be the baby grandbaby. So that makes her. And her mother was my baby. So that makes her really special. I love her. Alright, so now we have got this together, and I'm trying to decide if I want to pop that up just a little bit, and I think I do. I think I'm going to put some foam dots on that, and I'm going to use these ones right here that's not real cooperative, but I got to use them. I think I picked these up at Tuesday mornings, and you know the old cliche, you get what you pay for. Usually there's a reason that stuff is in Tuesday morning. It's stuff that didn't sell well in the store, and we know that. But a lot of times I find some really good stuff there. And these dots aren't bad, don't get me wrong, they stick really good and they got good dimension. The backers don't come off good. And that bothers me. You have to pick to get these off. Alright, we got those all off, and now we're ready to glue this down to our other little banner. So I'm just going to eyeball right here, like that. And there's our little banner. Alright, so now that we're coming along, let's go ahead and start gluing our stuff down. So I'm going to put this one down flat to the card. So, oops, it might help if I take the pen out. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to run a circle of glue all around my card. Just like that. I mean my circle. And I'm going to put this right here. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I want it to come to the edge there, but hang over this piece right here. Now this piece I think I'm going to foam it up. And do I want to go back to those dots? I'm going to show y'all the difference. I'm going to show you the better quality ones versus those. How about that? Okay, these ones right here, these are awesome. Alright, making sure I got the back of that up, and that's the back. Now these come up off of your paper really good. You put them down onto your piece, just like that. I mean, how easy is that? They're so easy to position exactly where you want them. I'm going to do one more. Right about there. Now watch this. See what I mean? So much easier, so quicker, and voila, there you go. Alright, I'm going to be very careful putting this on because I want to make sure I get it centered. So I am going to drop this right about here. And this is one of those cards where you see I'm doing very little stamping or anything like that. I am basically letting the paper do all the work for me. So now I'm going to bring this banner in, and I want it to live about like that. I just want it to be a little bit, you know, catty-cornered. So I want to glue this down, but I don't want to put glue everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a streak of glue right across here, and then I'm going to sit that banner down in that glue. Don't need any more. Oh, you know what? I need to put my butterfly on there before I went any further. We'll cut one out. We'll cut one and put it on there. I got ahead of myself, y'all. So I want that to be right there. And now what I want to do is I want to stamp some of these butterflies. I love this one. So, and I also like that big one. Maybe we'll do the little one and cut him and put him here, and we'll do the bigger one and put him over here. I think that would add a little bit to our card, and yeah, I think that'll work. So I might do a couple of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stamp block, and I'm going to grab this piece of paper that I have left over. Put my pen back in my glue before I have a mess. my puppy dogs are sleeping right now. Can you believe it? Alright, I'm going to lay this over here because I just don't want to get that messed up while I'm working with my black ink. And I think I'm going to use my Memento. Yeah, I think I'll use the Memento since I've got it right here. And I'm going to grab a couple of stamp blocks. I'm going to use this one for this butterfly. And I'm going to grab that little bitty one for this butterfly. I'm going to do the little one. I might do a couple of them. I'm going to come down here to the bottom of my paper and just stamp. This wasn't the one I wanted. I pulled off the wrong one. And of course I noticed that the minute that I stamped it, I got a little bit of squeaky clean right here on my little microfiber cloth, so I'm going to clean that one off. And let me grab the one that I intended to get to start with, and that was this other one. This one's cute, but I like the other one better. This one is the one that I meant to get. Let's see if he'll fit on this block. Yep, I think that'll work. Actually, I can come up a little bit. If I go kind of catty-cornered like that, I think I got him. Alright, I'm going to stamp down at the bottom just like I was doing. I'll bring that up so you can see what I'm doing. There's one. I'm going to do one more. Maybe one more. Okay. I'm done with that one. Now let's get the bigger one and we'll do the same thing. The reason I'm using the Memento ink, I want to come back in with my alcohol markers and color these. And I need an ink that won't bleed with the alcohol markers. So that's the reason I'm using the Memento. And also you could use the Nouveau Hybrids. I just have this right here. I'm gonna stamp one more of these. The reason I like to stamp more than one is when I'm cutting, if I mess up, I don't have to come back and re-stamp. I can just keep going. So there's always a method to my madness. That's what I used to always tell my kids when I was doing something. But Mom, what are you doing? Why are you doing it like that? Don't worry how I'm doing it. There's always a method to my madness. So. And it's the same way with anything that I'm doing, whether I'm cooking or cleaning, which I don't like to do, but, you know, it's a necessary evil. I'd rather be crafting than cleaning. How about y'all? Okay, y'all, I'm back, and let me tell you what I decided. I decided that the colored butterflies did not look good on this card, so I wanted to keep it with the black and white theme, so I went back and stamped my butterflies and made them just black and white and fussy cut these. And I love the way this has come together. I do want to pop these up on Pop Dots, so I am going to look for some smaller ones because I think we need tiny ones for the butterflies. And I do have some of the little ones like this. So let me get my little pokey tool, and I know it's over here somewhere. And I'm going to turn this one over first, and I'm just going to grab one little dot and put that right there. I'm telling you, since I cut my thumb, I don't know how in the world I got, I mean, everything I touch, this poor little thumb is in my way, but I like my thumb, so I guess I will tolerate it until it heals up. I don't have much choice, do I? Alright, I'm popping that up on that Pop Dot and let it live right there. I love the dimension on this card. I love all the elements that we went through and we put on here. We have we have fussy cutting, we have stamping, we have dovetailing or fishtail. I'm not sure of what you call that, but anyway, whatever it is, it's pretty. I'm going to cut one of these in half. And when I cut them in half, I just go right up the paper like that and cut just like that. And that gives me little tiny pieces. When I need a little piece to go somewhere like that, then I have it. Oops, I don't want that other side. And we're going to put that right there. I'm going to use this other one right here. I just want to make sure I've got enough of adhesive on this because this is going to go in the mail, and even though I'm going to stamp it non-machinable, it still may take a beating, so I just want to make sure that my little elements stay down on my butterfly, or it stays adhered to the card. I'm also, I think, going to put some art glitter glue on this because I am putting it on a textured surface. So a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to do a little dab on each one of these little pieces of dimension. And I'm very, very carefully going to pick that up and decide where I want it. And I think I want it right there in that corner, just like that. Yeah, that looks good. And it feels secure. So now on this one, I'm just going to do the same thing I did on the other one. I'm just going to put one dot. And just, if you don't have glue dots, let me tell you what you can do. If you have chipboard, you can cut a little piece of chipboard and glue it to the back of this, and then put some glue on it and glue it to your card. So, you know, if you don't have, everything that you need, improvise. You could even stack a little bit of cardstock, 2 or 3 little pieces, and glue them together, and it would help give you some dimension. Alright, we've got the base of the mat of this card completed, and look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. So, but we need to adhere it to our card base. So I chose this beautiful white, and I am going to glue this down just like that. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to glue this flat down. So I'm just going to take some more glitter glue, shake it down, and swirl, swirl, swirl. A little bit extra around the edges, just for good measure. And now I want to sit this down, and I want to make sure I'm keeping my borders nice and straight. This one needs to come down. That looks just about perfect. Well, it's perfect for me. And y'all know I don't do perfect. I do like pretty, but I don't do perfect. So there we go. Now all I need to do is put a frame inside of here, and I decided that I want to keep that same theme rolling throughout my card. So let me, I don't have any more red left. I'm going to have to, well, maybe I do. Wait a minute. Okay, I do. And I'm going to show you a trick. We're going to cut this piece to fit inside this card, so it needs to be 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to do that first, and I'm going to show you how you can save your paper. If you want to use, and I've seen a lot of people doing this lately. So let's go 5 1/4 this way. You do have to cut your piece to the size that you need it. And this is 4. Now what you're going to do is you're going to line this up where you're going to have just about a 1/2 inch all the way around. So put it to a 1/2 inch, and come up a 1/2 inch. Put your blade in and slide it up to about a 1/2 inch, which would be right about there. Take it and turn it, put it on that 1/2 inch again, and sink your blade and come down to where you just cut, like that, and then turn it, leaving it on that 1/2 inch. Come in, bring your blade up to where you left off cutting, and you can line it up by looking at it right there. Line it up, slice it up to the 1/2 inch mark, which is right there. Turn it, line it up on the 1/2 inch, sink your blade and cut it down. And let's see how close we came. We did pretty good. I got one little place right there that I didn't quite come all the way down on, so we're going to put that back at a 1/2 inch, and then we'll come up to about here, and I'm going to cut that up, and that should have cut that out perfect. Now we have saved this much of that red cardstock that we can use in something else. We can now put this in here, just like that. If we wanted the black behind it, we could cut another piece of black, but I don't think we're going to need that. We're going to do it with the red. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this part down. Let me move my trimmer out of the way. And I am going to put glue all around this frame. And then we're going to sit this frame right in here, giving it that little 1/8 of an inch border. Just like that. Don't worry about the little fuzzies on it because we're going to cover that up. We're going to cover this whole inside up. So now I'm going to grab a piece of white, and we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4. So 3 3/4. This is crooked as I am. Not that I'm crooked, but you know what I mean. 3 and there's 3/4. So we're going to cut this end off. And we need it by 4. No. This piece isn't going to work. I don't have it wide enough. Nope. Alright, let me grab a piece of cardstock. We're going to regroup. And let me remeasure this. And I am pretty sure, okay, it needs to be 5. We're going to do it 5 by 3 1/2. five by 3 1/2. So I'm going to cut this at 5. And then we're going to turn it and cut this at 3 1/2. Now this should fit in here and cover this, and this will be the place that we will stamp a sentiment or write a note. And look how pretty that is. And we might stamp a little butterfly in the corner of it. I think that would be so cute, and it would also lend to the black and white and red theme that I have going throughout the card. So I love this little butterfly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to use Versify because I'm not going to color it. And I'm going to stamp one right here, and maybe one right here. And I am going to grab a birthday. You know what? I got some new birthday greetings. I just got this week. Yesterday, as a matter of fact. Let me look at that stamp set and see if I got something that I can use. And this was a Gina Marie. It's got on your special day. Let's open these so we can see. And sometimes it's hard to read under the plastic. So we're going to take this out so we can look at them. It says, make a wish, happy birthday, wishing you a wonderful day, God bless you on this day, happy birthday again, happy belated birthday, let's celebrate on your special day, 1 year older, 1 year older, birthday wishes, today's your day, thinking of you on your birthday, sorry I missed your birthday, surprise, your birth is something to celebrate, hope you have a special day. I love this one that says your birth is something to celebrate, because I think that's true. So I am going to put this one, and God bless you on this day. And I think what I want to do is I want to put these two together. I'm going to line them up here so that I know that I get them good and straight. And then I'm going to grab one stamp block and pick the whole thing up. Just like that. That one does not look straight to me. And y'all know me, I am definitely going to stamp this on a scrap piece of paper. Yeah, right here, before I commit it to that card, because I don't want to mess that up after I have gone through this much trouble to get this card done. We're almost completely done with it. So I am going to stamp this over here, just to make sure that it stamps really good. And it does. I love that. So I'm gonna ink it up again really good. So I got too much ink on it. No, that was actually good. So I'm going to come to the card now, and I'm going to try to center this, but I want to bring it up a little bit because I want to have room to sign my card. So right about there. And up. Very, very good. Now this is ready to go into our card, just like this. And look how pretty that is. So I am going to put my glue all around the edges. I'm not going to worry about the center because I don't want that to glue down, because it will look concaved and we don't want that. So we're going to put that right about like that. And now we have a place to sign, and this card is done. Now y'all gonna have to let me know what you think, and if this is a card that you would make. And if you like this card, I think it turned out very pretty. I'm gonna zoom y'all in so you can see. And there's our inside. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. So I hope that you were inspired by this card, because you can see I used very little stamping, the happy birthday, and then this little sentiment that I found. And you can look through your stamp sets. You'll be surprised what you can find that you can put together. I added a little butterfly inside to kind of tie into my butterfly theme on the outside. look at that detail embossing right here. And then the beautiful die cuts right here that I took the time to cut a circle so that it would be white all the way around. The little details like that that you put in a card is what makes them special. So do something special in your cards today. And as I always say in closing, I just want you to know how much each and every one of you mean to me. Y'all mean the world. And I could not do this without you. It's all of you that take the time to watch my videos, that become inspired by my work and replicate it and show it over on my Facebook group. I love you. You mean so much. And I'm speaking to each and every one of you. I do. I care about you. Y'all are like family to me. And even though I don't see you face to face, I will eventually do face to face videos. But for right now, it's my hands. And a lot of the reason for that is I had dental work done that has gone awry. And I'm not real comfortable being on camera right now. Not until I can get to my dentist and get some fitting done with my dentures. So that's my issue, and I hope you all understand. Pray for me about my thumb. I need prayer because, like I said, I cut this all the way into the meat and my nail all the way across my thumb, and it is pretty sore. It hurts all the way down into here this morning. But I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. It isn't like you can just run to the emergency room these days with something like this. But anyway, the other thing I want to tell you before I go, alcohol markers are back. They are restocked in my store, the ones that I could get. Now, there are still a lot of them out there that I was not able to pick up because Nuvo don't have them. And it has to do with, and y'all, if you're a seasoned crafter, you know that probably 99.9% of our craft supplies comes from China. Sad but true. And because of the coronavirus, trying to get stuff from China has been very slow. So there are quite a few of the markers that are on back order. The cookies and cream, I know is one. The Supreme Metallics are another one. I think there's one of the hazy mauves, I think, and it was a green one. I can't remember, but I have a list, but I just don't have it in front of me. So if you want any of those markers, I only have a few of each color. So I would advise you to run over there really quick and grab up what you need if there's colors there that you don't have. I just wanted to let you know that they are back. So I'm going to go ahead and close out. One reason is I'm closing because I got to find my pen. I cannot find my pen. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got that solved before we got off the camera. So God bless each and every one of you. I want to see y'all make something like this. Use what you got. If you don't have the dies that are decorative like this, and you can't go out and buy those, I am going to link where you can get these dies if you do want to get them. The stamp set was May, new creation. Some of you may have this. This was one of her scripture stamp sets of the month. And I forget what month this one was, but I love this one. I go to it quite often. It is absolutely a lovely stamp set to have in your collection. So I'm going to close off and just let you know that I love you and Jesus loves you. And on that note, as I always say, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven, Jesus our Savior, and the Holy Spirit that lives within us. And, you know, if you keep that thought first and foremost in your head, you will be very careful of the things that you say and the things that you do and the places you go. Because our lives do need to be a shining example of Jesus' love. So, God bless you. Until we craft again, I love you. Bye-bye.